And welcome back to an early morning fish room video. I think it's been a couple of weeks since I've done an update. For all the people wanting reptile videos, I will be doing one of those soon as well. I know, I just don't have enough hours in the day it seems at the moment, but if you haven't seen any of my fish room videos before, this is my fish room. I have lots of baby fish growing up. Yeah, we have sunlight through tanks at the moment because it's super early morning, and my fish room is sort of half undercover outside. Why is that? Well, it just is. But I have lots and lots of smaller tanks, lots of big tanks. We'll go through a few of the fish later in this video, but I did get a whole lot of new fish. Oh, there's my little pygmy cories doing their pygmy cory thing from a friend. Now, I did not want these fish. No offense if you're watching this, Derek, because he said there was only a few silver dollars, and there was 15 absolutely monstrous silver dollars, all jammed in a bucket. Oh yeah, slightly damaged eyes. I know, if you ever move fish, don't put 15 big fish in one bucket. So I haven't quarantined them or anything like that because they've only been in a 6-foot tank for the last couple of years, and they originally came from me. But he is changing his tank around, so now I have a giant school of spotted, well, no, not spotted, striped silver dollars. Oh, there's my big old talking catfish. I think he just chased that Bashir out of the tank. Tube, tank thing, whatever it is. But anyway, now I have striped silver dollars because they have stripes and not spots, and normal silver dollars. They're pretty big. They are a little bit too big to even go in the tank at the shop, which I've got a whole heap of silver dollars in anyway. But yeah, once their eyes heal, there's a little bit of damage on the eyes, a little bit of damage on some of their fins. You can see with that striped one there. But they are in a 9-foot tank. Yes, that is 9 foot. Those tanks are 3 foot by 4 foot. So this tank is 4 foot back to front. It is got an overflow. It is connected with a pipe all the way down the bottom that goes 18 foot, hello fishy, into this big sump here. So I've got heating, I've got ozone, or actually the ozone's turned off at the moment. I have a pressurized pool filter, all sorts of stuff. There's random cichlids in the sump. I know, I need to update a little bit. There is a Saratoga, hello. What are you doing? You're waiting for food. Yes, you are. He's not overly big, maybe 1.5 foot or so. We have a sooty grunter. He is an absolute pain, and he has grown so much in the last sort of 6 months or so that I've had him. Wow, I didn't realize how much he's grown. Okay, they are generally a nasty fish, obviously Australian native. Gonna get a lot bigger. We have a couple of giant gouramis in this tank. We have some very old peacock bass. Look how old they're looking. I know. They were in their prime a few years ago. Oh, maybe COVID time. They looked absolutely awesome. But now they are old, gentle, mingy looking fish. I know. We have a lot of Oscars. There's an Oscar we've actually grown ourselves, bred ourselves, you know what I mean, from a little tiny baby. A few of these have got hole in the heads, if I can find them. That one was a deformed Oscar, which was just a giveaway. There's a fair few Oscars in here. There's a little female mono peacock bass, not looking as mingy as those big old guys. There is a wolf cichlid at the back, about the same size as one of the giant gouramis. There's another arch. This is my one-eyed peacock bass. That's his good eye. He's not going to really show you his bad eye. We have a few big redfin cigar sharks lurking at the back, which are probably about 60 centimeters, 70 centimeters. There's the wolf cichlid. He would be a good 50 centimeters or so, which is a pretty monstrous fish. I know. Now, unfortunately, his girlfriend died. She got butchered. I'm not entirely sure what by, most likely him, because he's a little bugger. So he is on his own at the moment. I did have a pair in there. I am growing up a lot of their fry, so yeah, we'll start again. But that seems to be the go with fish. You have a nice pair or something, and then that happens. But all these Oscars are adult size. Looking a little bit mingy, some of them, but yeah, that one was deformed when I got him. If you're watching this and this is your Oscar, He's going well. He, she. There's a normal looking Oscar, a few normal looking tiger Oscars. I got my hemianthus catfish. There are, I think, 6 in here because we had one absolutely rip the crap out of the other one. There's some big plecos at the back, if you can sort of see. Yeah, I've just redone the bottom of the substrate. They had all their substrate at one end, so I pushed it all back yesterday. So I'm just waiting for the filters to catch up and actually clean all the murkiness. He's a pretty fish, isn't he? We do get these from time to time. Such an evil fish though. Yes, you are. Anyway, that is what's in that tank. This hemianthus cat is finally starting to look a little bit better. He absolutely got destroyed by the other hemianthus cat. So he's a he. He got his whiskers chopped off, but they're going to grow back. He had a couple of holes in his body, but he's starting to do hemianthus cat things. There's a big girl there. Absolutely. Yeah, if you have ever kept hemianthus cats, yeah, they're hit and miss. They all want their own territories, and if something happens that they don't like, boom, they just go crazy. But that is this tank. This one with the silver dollars. Oh, now we've got light reflecting over there at the moment, so everything is a little bit hit and miss. Silver cichlids. I was going to get rid of them, but I got some more silver cichlids in the shop, little tiny babies. So I'm going to grow a couple of girls up. I really should pinch those. I haven't done that yet, and there's only a few left. But if you do want some males, there's still a couple of males left in the shop. They are awesome. Argentina cichlids is another name. So silver cichlid, Argentina cichlid. These are pretty much adults at around that sort of 30, 35 centimeters to give you an idea. These silver dollars are huge. There is a wild caught Oscar. Hello. Very pretty. Obviously from South America, not wild caught here. Another giant gourami in there, and my lone one, what is it? Albino tinfoil barb at the back because his mates got munched by the wolf cichlid when the wolf cichlid was breeding. I know, so I just couldn't get them out in time. Otherwise, we've got some very cool catfish in here. Check out the tail on that. Check out his spikes. I know, he's a very, very awesome cat. That there is a striped Raphael catfish, and that would be 26, 27 years old now. Very, very old catfish, maybe about 40 centimeters. Well, if we zoom out, that log there is a 60 centimeter log. So if we go around the side, yeah, this tank is 120 centimeters, so 4 foot front to back. So you can see how big that log is. That is huge. I don't even know who made that log. I know where it came from, but I have no idea who made it. Yeah, it is just massive. So this one here, I think is what, 45 centimeters or something like that. Yeah, it's just a massive, massive log. There's another big pleco. But you get an idea of how big the tank is. You can't even see through it. A little bit of tannic acid from the driftwood and stuff like that. But the water quality is reading good. But that is one lot of new fish that I've got. Yeah, bloody reflection. Let's see if we can zoom in. No, we can't, sorry. The reflection's kind of wrecking the video a little bit. But a lot more mouths to feed. I think ideally I want to get bigger tanks, obviously, but I need to move first. And, you know, put everything in massive, massive big tanks. So a lot higher than 2.5 foot high. Yeah, it doesn't look big, does it? But they're big tanks. They are very, very big tanks, to give you an idea. I know, I keep saying that in every video. You just can't really see how big they are on camera, I guess. But lots of big fish, lots of cool fish, and now 15 extra silver dollars. While we're here, we might jump to that tank because, yeah, my aphens are being absolute little buggers. Now, these are African fish from the Congo. I think I have 2 girls and 3 boys. That one came in with funny eyes when it was a baby, but the other ones are good. I do want to spawn them. Yeah, they're not filled up with eggs at the moment. Where is one of the girls? There's a girl there. Aren't they the weirdest fish you've ever seen? So red fin aphens or something like that. When they're babies, they have red fins. Yeah, when they're bigger, they are brown and evil. That is a boy, looking all lovely. They're just a weird African fish. 1 spectabilis left. I know, his mate's got munch, so I don't even think I'll be able to get a girlfriend for him, but we'll see. And all my Senegals are in here as well. There's a Senegal I've had for, over 10 years, that boy. And I think a whole lot of his babies are in there. There's one of his sons. There's some featherfin squeakers that I do need to breed way at the back. Again, for some reason this tank is murky. I've got a sump filtration down the bottom, but I think it's just the driftwood at the moment. Nicaraguan parrots looking lovely. So I've just added some of their babies. So there's some young boys in with the girls. Hopefully we'll have another couple of spawns of those, but they are very, very pretty fish. So the girls are the coloured up ones like that. I know, you wouldn't think it, would you? And the boys have a bit of colour, but nowhere near as much as the girls. There's a boy there. He's just a young one that I've bred myself. But otherwise, lots of Senegals in here. Oh, there's an albino giant gourami, being an absolute bully. Looks like it's a girl, which is good because I think I've got way too many boy giant gouramis. Just growing up, looking pretty. This tank, by the way, is a 6 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot, to give you an idea. So low iron glass and one piece top or Euro brace. That's pretty lovely tank, except it looks bright yellow with the driftwood. I know. I've got 600 watts of heat going in there and just a simple sump setup. I do want to put a few wave makers in. I've been using these Delua wave makers, which you get a little controller like that. Little wave maker there, and that's enough flow for these tanks plus the sump. So there's a decent amount of flow, so at least the silver dollars and stuff get something to swim against. Shame about the reflection. I think the next fish room video I'm going to do at night, just so you can actually see it a little bit better than what it is, because yeah, in the daytime you get all these reflections and can't really see the fish that well, can you? No, you can't. Thank you, Oscar. But apart from that, we did get a couple more different little baby fish and stuff. Oh, I'm going to show you the stingrays because I haven't done that for a little bit. Okay, I think I'm going to have the same issue with this tank with the reflections everywhere. But this is another big tank. So this is 9 foot by 4 foot again. Yes, I have 3 9-foot tanks. Kind of want more than 3 9-foot tanks. I know, doesn't that sound silly, but I need a lot more room. So this tank has some hybrid peacock bass in it. Don't ask me what they are. I think they're Azul cross something. Not entirely sure what, but they are pretty big fish. Yeah, still a little bit more in their prime than the other ones. Being a hybrid, they get very, very big as well. I've got a couple of stingrays. What's that? That's a Mintella hybrid. What have we got? Matoro down here, being an absolute pain. He has got to be the nastiest male Matoro ever. There is a dacnoid way in the corner. There's a dat, and that's probably 40, 50 centimeters, to give you an idea. These peacock bass are around 60 centimeters. So yeah, stingray is big, but that is one of the smaller stingrays. I have my pig-nosed turtles in here. They are a fully aquatic turtle. You need a reptile license for them. These are the Australian ones, not your Papua New Guinea ones. There is a difference, but I've got 3 of them lurking around. There's the other one just sitting on its driftwood. There is a red-tailed giant gourami lurking underneath there. And where is the other giant gourami? Way at the back. I know. When tanks are big and giant gouramis look little, it's kind of bizarre, isn't it? There's Mr. Stingray. Well, actually, that's Mrs. Stingray, so that's how big she is. And they're probably half sort of grown. Oh, way at the back too, big Saratoga. So that's the Saratoga Liccardi. That's probably around 70 centimeters, to give you an idea. It's a big fish. I know, it does not look big. But this tank here has one of those Delua wave makers. I think it's the biggest one, so however many 1,000 liters it pumps around. It overflows into this pool, which is a 9 foot by 5 foot. I usually get the size wrong, but it is 9 foot by 5 foot with my lady stingrays. Now, I need more room. I know. I can't have sand in here because when I put sand in here, they push it into the pumps and destroy the pumps. And over the last couple of years, they have destroyed like maybe 4 or 5 pumps. I do want to get them onto sand like these rays, because once they're on sand, they have more fun. It's more natural for them. They'll sift around the substrate, do their stingray stuff, and generally just enjoy life. When they're in without sand, they're like, what are you doing? You've just got us in a tub practically with nothing. So I do need to upgrade them, give them a little bit more fun, give them some rocks and stuff to climb over. I might actually do that in this and just put some smaller flat pebbles and stuff in, just so they've got something to interact with, because yeah, I know, I don't want to keep them long term in something basic like this. Otherwise, you might as well just have them in a glass tank with absolutely nothing in there. So it's going to be upgraded as they get bigger, and I've had all these girls for, probably 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years with the big girl. She's pretty big. I'm not going to put my hand down there because, yeah, they are venomous. They've got the venomous dorsal spine, tail spine. It's not their dorsal. But, yeah. But they've got that much room at the moment. Want to increase that. I've got some lovely aquaponic mint going on. I know. Would you believe I'm the only one that cannot grow mint in the whole world? Everyone else, it's a weed, don't ever plant it, no, don't do that. And yeah, I keep killing it. So, haven't killed it in aquaponics. So, and this is just a simple aquaponic system where the water is pumping from one of these tubs in there and in there. Now, whatever is in the tubs, we have our lovely Oscar. We have another dapnoid, which is actually a massive, huge dapnoid, but doesn't look huge. And we have a lungfish. Now, that lungfish got his fins nipped off by the other bloody lungfish. Now, that's an Australian lungfish. You need a microchip and a certificate to keep them. You can buy them online. They're about $1,000 a baby. These are very, very old. Where is the other one? Okay, we can't even see in this tub. There is some mantilla stingrays in there. There's a couple there. That big shadow thing at the back is another lungfish. Okay, they've got to be the most boringest fish ever, unfortunately. I know. I gave them a try. I've got one in the shop. They sort of sit there, don't really do much. And for something that lives 100 years old, you wouldn't think they would eat each other's fins off. So they're separate. They're going to stay separate for a long, long time. I don't even think his fins are ever going to grow back, because that's a month or two separate now and nothing. But we'll see. There is hope. Who even knows? But these two tubs, obviously, the water pumps from that into the biofilter with UV, and then that trickles back into these, and these have just got overflows going in there. I've got another pump coming along here, going into this tub, and we have very big Murray cod. Yes, you are. Come here. Come here. Absolutely awesome Australian native fish. Now, this is probably about 80 centimeters now, to give you an idea. Does not look big, but this is a 5-foot tub by nearly 3 foot high. Yeah, so the water pumps into that, overflows into this other 5-foot tub. Did I say tub? It has 2,400 watts of heat. So we're currently at 21 degrees because we're trying a little experiment, and it's usually 22 this time of year, then back up to 28. Obviously, he or she does not like 28 degrees, so we turn this off the system, and I just have like a biofilter going in so it doesn't get too hot in summer. But I'm trying a little bit different with the rays and stuff, and cooling them down for part of the year, then heating them back up, because where they come from South America, apparently that is a thing. So I'm like, okay, let's experiment with that. Obviously, if we get any issues, I'm going to flick the heat back on real quick, because you can't really treat them with anything if something happens. Obviously, lungfish are perfectly fine cold. Giant gouramis hate it cold. Saratoga's fine cold. So it's just the peacock bass. Oh, and the turtles don't like it cold, but they seem to be okay at 22 degrees. So we're going to keep them at that for a little bit of the year anyway. But in here, we have peacock bass hiding down there, a pair of Oscars, a couple of plecos. That is pretty much it in that tub. And then I've got my K1 microbead filter. But I thought, yeah, I haven't actually showed anyone the Stingray system for a little bit, I think in the last couple of videos. I just need to upgrade this pool because it's not working for me. It's just a pool. I mean, they're happy. They're coming over when they see you like these two girls are now, but it's just a boring pool. I know, it needs to be a little bit more exciting, I think, for them. So we'll work on that. I don't know how I'm gonna rig up the pumps so that stuff doesn't go in them. So I might try just the flat rocks first so they've got something to drift over and stuff. And yeah, maybe eventually move everything around and have just a bigger area for them, I think. But yeah, we'll deal with that. Maybe some domes outside. Yeah, that sounds expensive. But anyway, let's jump to some other fish. One of the tigers was out, so I thought I would just film him because, yeah, well, actually that's a she, that one. I've got 3 tigers in here. Big girl in the log. That'll be the boy there. Awesome, awesome little fish. Look at them little flappy fins. Okay, they're not little. They get easily 2.5 foot. These are probably, I don't know, foot and a bit, maybe, roughly. About a foot and a bit or so. But anyway, I did get some more fish. If you're a member, you would have seen these. I don't think I've added them to any of my videos. These are Aspidoris, which is like a mini Corydoras catfish. Very, very cool. Now, I kept all of them. There was only 15 available, but yeah, they're schooling and they were awesome, and I expected them to be half the size they are at the moment. Yeah, so cool. So I will try and get some more of those in. They're just in a quarantine tank with my red devil angels. There are some gold severums, and of all things, a few random discus that came in a little bit dodgy, but they're perking up. That's that discus way at the back being completely shy. Yeah, so they'll just stay quarantined for a little while until I deal with them, but Aspidoris are pretty awesome. Oh, I have not done anything about spawning the Kuliloches. They are still in their tank, just doing their Kuliloche stuff. Same with the Tetras, same with everything else. Now, Pygmy Cories were laying eggs again. Are they eggs on the other side? I don't know if they're eggs on the other side. Possibly eggs on the glass at the other side. Yeah, but I just don't have time, unfortunately, to deal with... Oh, there's a little baby in there. Okay. Well, seems to be working. Okay. I just saw a baby Pygmy Cory go in there. Pygmy Cories are like one of the smaller types of Cories you can get. But yeah, we just don't have time to breed them right now. Otherwise, all my awesome albino tetras, I was going to say albino catfish, albino tetras, these are the Kerry tetras. They're not albino, sorry, they're leucistic. So leucistic Kerry tetras, they'll go a nice, awesome iridescent blue to them. I know, I got a hold of those in a week or two ago and no one wanted them. It took ages to sell them, so I like them, so I have them at home. Tanganicans are not doing much at the moment. I'm pretty sure those little shell dwellers have eggs in one of those shells. I'm going to save them this time. Yeah, I just have to deal with that. And I have not even looked at the Calvus tank. I've just been feeding them. There's a few gold compressiceps growing up. Black Calvus. Some more gold compressiceps and some black Calvus. I don't think anyone has eggs in there at the moment. But I do need to upgrade around here. Well, actually, all our baby Malawi cichlids are going crazy. Look at the colour on some of the Alunicara. I know, I'm just going to grow them up a little bit more. How lovely are some of those males starting to look? They're going to go bright, bright red with the blue in them. Just starting to get some colour to them. So these are all probably about 4 or 5 centimetres. So my Synodontis are doing well, as I always say. Lots more babies in there. I probably have to move the shell dwellers out of this little tub. And I'll sort that out soon. Rostratus babies are doing well. They're actually looking like Rostratus now. But my little white-lipped Meducas are still brown. So yeah, I've never actually bred those before, so I don't know how long it's going to take for those to actually start to turn blue. I'm guessing when they get like 5-6 centimetres or something like that. But yeah, I think I got mine at maybe 6 centimetres and they were blue, so I'm guessing around that. But if we come around here, the adults are in here. I still don't have any light for this tank, so we've got horrible reflections. There's one of the adults, looking mingy because there is no light on these tanks. So hopefully in the next week, I'll have lights on these tanks, clean the algae. There's one of the rostratus. Can't see you because of reflections, I'm sorry. A couple of female venistus in there. Actually, there's some more rostratus down the bottom. Yep, can't see you either. But I'm going to, this week, finally, I have talked myself into it, upgrade this canister filter. So I've had this Orca canister filter, which is a pretty cheap canister filter for, honestly, 6 or 10 years. And it's time to replace it. It's starting to wear out. It'll probably last another 6 years, but I don't want it to just fail when I'm not here. So I'm going to replace it with one of these, which is your Awazi's. And with the Awazi canister filters, as I've showed you in a couple of other videos, they've got the heater in them as well. So I can take the heater out of the tank, just have an Awazi canister there. These have obviously got overflows, so if we bend down the side there, you can see the overflows in the tank. So it's just water pumping from the bottom tank into the canister and then pumped to the top, and then it overflows into the bottom. So that way, same with this one, it just circulates all the tanks. So this is a 4 foot divided into 3. That is a 4 footer. So the water just pumps up from the canister filter into this PVC pipe, and then it just trickles into each of these, overflows into the bottom tank, and then it goes back into the filter. So you've technically got 4 tanks filtered, separate, and heated and all that sort of stuff. So very, very easy. Same as what I've done with these Tanzanican tanks. I've got Awazi down the bottom, pumps in, goes up. Now, I am not sponsored by Awazi. I just like their filters. Yeah, they're never going to be sponsored by Awazi. So, you know, you buy whatever filter you want, but these are working pretty well. German made. They have a heater in them. Yeah, haven't had any issues with them. I might try some of the Fluval FX6s and stuff like that. I'm just not entirely sure yet. Comment down below, actually, if you've used Fluval FX6s and you like them. I don't really want them for the bigger tanks because, yeah, sumps work a lot better than, you know, canisters and stuff like that for that sort of system. But I think I could probably use FX6s to pump water higher up or something. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise, all the little baby fish are ridiculously baby. There's way too many fish, I know. Yeah, this system is obviously pumping through the 2 sumps and then, you know, trickling back into the actual tanks itself. Working really well. There's my tiny little Nicaraguan parrots. There's some wolf cichlids in there, which I need to baby a little bit more. They do not like being filmed down that tank, and I haven't done anything with this rack yet. But these 2 4 footers are connected again and again with a canister filter. So if we creep around here, this is the back arse of the whole system. It's just a canister filter there, pumping the water from the sump into the canister, then up there, trickling into there, then back into the sump. And then all these have just got a gentle trickle overflow. If we can come around this side so you can sort of see it. Yeah, so it just overflows in each tank, just trickling into PVC pipe, and then that just goes into the sump. It is pretty straightforward. I know, it looks a complete mess. There is easier ways to do that, but I just used all the bits and pieces that I already had. So hopefully in the next, let's give me a 6-month timeline. Yeah, if I didn't work all the time, 6-month timeline seems to be the go. Yeah, I'll get all this sorted and it'll be a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit more productive, and not that it's not productive now, but a little bit more streamlined and look a little bit better, I think. But this is the current fish room. Yeah, I might go through all the Corridoras tanks and that, but oh, we finally can see some shrimp. The shrimp are doing well. I do need to set up that rack of shrimp, but I've got a few things I need to do in the shop first, change tanks around and that before I do any more changing around here. Anyway, I think we might leave it at that. If you've got any comments or questions, comment down below. And yeah, if you've got anything you need to know or whatever, just yeah, comment, I'll get back to you. And we will see you in the next one. If you want to watch more stuff on the screen. And thank you heaps to my members. Oh, look how awesome those catfish are. I say that all the time, don't I? I know. finally they're actually swimming around. Usually when I film these, you don't get to see them. That makes no sense. You know what I mean? They're usually hiding in their logs and stuff, but they're not now. Such cool little catfish. I do have hoplos available in the shop if you're watching this on upload. Anyway, see you in the next one.